Good evening. I'm Kim Trathen, business and marketing coach, and this is episode 19 of Girls Talk Business. Tonight, I'm really excited. My guest on tonight's show is actually local to my town in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and her name is Deb Kalsbeek, and I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. She has had her hand in business. It sounds like virtually her whole life she has been around business. So I'm really excited to have her on, share some of her journey. And as you may have seen in the social media graphic for tonight's show, Deb actually had her doing business as licensing when she was still in high school. I believe she said she was a senior in high school. So I'm really excited to hear how on earth at that young of an age she was able to pursue and actually make that a reality. So I'm just going to wait for Deb to hop on. Deb, when you are on, please, if you are on right now, drop me a comment so that I know you're here. I've been thinking a lot this week about what it would have been like and how different my life would have been had I started down the entrepreneurial journey much earlier in life. I think back to what I was doing in high school, and I feel like it was definitely a very different day and age back then. Hi, Devin. It was definitely a different day and age back when I went to high school, but I think about how somebody like Deb was able to get her DBA then, and I think about the things that I was spending my time doing in high school, and entrepreneurial dreams were not even on my radar. And I loved my parents dearly, but those were not conversations that we had in my house. So I think it's really, really cool that Deb was able to grow up around this. Hi, Devin. I am just waiting for Deb to hop on. Deb, if you are here, drop me a comment so that I know you're on. Devin, I would love to know how old you were when you first got your entrepreneurial bug. I was just saying that I definitely did not have that in high school. My entrepreneurial bug, I guess I was a late bloomer. My entrepreneurial bug didn't hit until I had different forms of it earlier, but it really, really hit me strong a couple years ago. But I have been somebody, ran my own fitness classes and things like that. So Devin, I would love to know if you fall into that group of somebody who has kind of been running businesses forever. Oh, college. See, you were quite young too. I think you're quite a bit younger than I am. So I'm going to say that the day and age and the social media and all of that had a lot to do with it. There are the conversations that I have now with my kids, and if you're on with me now, if you catch the replay, I would love to know if you feel like this too. Once my mind and my world opened up to being an entrepreneur and what that means and the lifestyle you create and the freedom that you can create, all of these different things, I feel like the conversations that I have with my kids are just very different than the conversations that were happening in my house when I was growing up. Oh, see, Devin worked freelance when she was in high school. So that's awesome. So you were quite young too when you started. I mean, that is the entrepreneurial bug right there. Oh, hey, Deb is on. All right, Deb, I'm going to go ahead and add you. Deb, are you on your phone? I am not getting the option to add you. And usually that is, if you're not on your phone, if you're on like a laptop or something like that, it won't give me the option to add you to the live. Drop me a comment if you are on your phone. Otherwise, go switch devices and I'll keep chatting here for a minute and then drop me another comment when you're back on. That is the one thing about joint Facebook Lives. If anybody is watching and you have not run a live before, a joint live, you can only bring people on if they are on their phone. All right, Deb, I am not sure. This is I can block you, Deb. Okay, I am going to test this. Deb, will you click and see if you have the option to request to join the live? It's so funny. We have Andy joining us and Devin, and I have the option to add both of them to the live, but I can't add you, Deb. I can like your comment. Oh, now it looks like I'll be able to. And okay, Deb, you should have a message accept saying that I'm adding you to the live. Hi, Andy. Thanks for joining us. I'm excited to see all these local gals. Hello.
Oh, hey.
All right.
There we go. Hi.
How are you?
I'll turn that way.
There you go.
I am good. I'm good.
Awesome. So
How about you?
I'm good. I'm curious. Did you have to do something different because your name suddenly appeared differently to me? I'm just curious because I had this issue with one other guest where I could not invite them. Did you do anything on your end that allowed me to be able to invite you? Did you request or no?
So originally I was on like the stream, like the page where all the posts come through,
Oh
like the
yeah,
main
like the
Facebook
feed.
page. And then I had to actually click on the video for it to show up.
Okay. Okay. Now I just know in case I encounter that again. I always feel like I'm kind of dead in the water on this end when I just can't add somebody. I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying. So I'm so excited
Yes,
that
just
you're
click on
here.
the face.
I know that's what, and so all it would happen before you did that, if I clicked on your picture, it would just let me like it or reply. Like it wouldn't, bring that message up to add you. So good,
Oh,
good to know. Good to know. So
yes.
for anybody watching the video, I know the couple people on probably already know who you are, but is your last name Kalsbeek? Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, I thought I better make sure before I kept pronouncing it like that. So today's guest, this is episode 19 of Girls Talk Business, and today's guest is Deb Kalsbeek. Deb has had her hand in the entrepreneurial world basically forever. And it sounds like she grew up in a really entrepreneurial minded house with an entrepreneur of a parent, her dad. And it sounds like that probably really shaped and formed the decisions that you made and kind of grew and fostered this entrepreneurial spirit in you at a pretty young age. So
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So you have founded and co-founded a couple different businesses. Deb and I are in the same town here. We are in Grand Rapids. Whoop, whoop. And
I actually live on the lake shore.
what? What?
Yeah, I moved here like a couple months.
Wow,
Like a couple months ago.
congratulations. So
Yeah, thank you. I grew up over here. So it's like being back
you
home.
did? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And you are the sole founder of Snap Studio, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. And then are you founder or co-founder of Weddings in a Snap?
Co-founder.
Co-founder. And then what about Snap Joy Studios? Co-founder?
Co-founder.
Just a few businesses going on there, just a few. So let's start out. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do in these different businesses? You're a photographer. Talk about kind of your part in these businesses, why you founded, what sets you apart from some other photographers. And then once you talk a little bit about what you do, then let's talk about how you got to where you are today. So can you start by sharing a bit about your businesses?
All right, so Snap Studio is mainly just weddings. So we do photo, video, photo booth, and DJ services. And then there's Snap Joy Studio, which is a creative workspace for fellow entrepreneurs, specifically towards photographers. So they're able to come in, rent the space to meet with clients. We have the lighting there and basically everything that they need to meet with their clients, their photography clients. That and just for fellow entrepreneurs, if they need to, somewhere cozy to work or somewhere to meet with their clients, it's right there for them.
That's awesome.
Wedding. Yes. And then Weddings in a Snap is a couple can come in, plan their entire wedding in a matter of 2 hours, and then we facilitate absolutely everything from that point with only the best of the best small local businesses. And then one that I didn't put in there is I also own Snap Store, which is an apparel company.
Oh, wow.
So like branded t-shirts, mugs, stuff like that.
Oh, that's
and then
fun.
I work with another small locally owned business to run that one.
Wow. Just a few businesses for you to juggle. I love it. I love it. So let's take us back now. Take us back to how you got where you are today. Let's talk a little bit about kind of that
there we go.
household you grew up in. Talk about that a bit. Tell us about your journey.
Okay, so I was a homeschool kid. I feel like that's like a big thing because that meant that I got to like go to work with my dad and just kind of like hang out. I grew up with my cousins and I like our dads were in business together. So my cousins got to go to the shop with us and just kind of hang out and, get into trouble. And my dad, as my sister and I got older, my parents in particular, wanted to gear our schooling towards our exact interests. And mine was definitely in business. And so my dad would let me go to business meetings with him, would have his secretary like teach me QuickBooks and various aspects of the office. And I just learned so much from him, hands-on, like just talking one-on-one on business. And so he knew at the young age of me being, I was either 16 or 17. I graduated when I was 17. And so I think I had to be about 16 that he knew to tell me to go down and get a DBA for snapshot moments photography, which is where everything started.
Wow. Now, I just have to say that I think sometimes homeschooling kind of gets a bad rap amongst people that, kids aren't going to be socialized, and like you hear all of this kind of stigma around it. And it sounds like your parents did homeschooling right, where you were able to graduate early and they catered it to your interest and they really fostered that. I mean, I feel like that's really what the goal of any type of individualized learning, whether it's homeschooling or something, a different program, but that's like truly what the goal is with the individualized learning. So that's awesome that your parents were not only able to have that extra time with you and teach you, but like truly foster those interests and get you set up with your DBA at 16 years old. So did you have kind of full control of that, even though you were so young? You chose your business name that you wanted. Did your dad help you out with that?
No, actually, my two older siblings helped me pick it out.
Oh, really?
Because originally it was, and this is so embarrassing because I absolutely hate being called Debbie, but it was Debbie Joy Photo, which is terrible. And then it was my older brother and my older sister that helped me out in picking snapshot moments photography.
Wow. And did they have businesses too?
What's that?
Did they also have businesses?
So my sister does. She owns KP Design, and her husband owns Crow Pro, which is a chrome plating shop. And then my brother actually works one of my companies with me.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to check some comments.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like we have, I'm going to not say the name right. Luisito? Greetings from Peru, he says. Hello from Michigan. Anybody else watching, please drop where you're watching from. I love to see where the Girls Talk Business episodes go. It's so amazing. So, Deb, let's get back then talking. So you filed for your DBA at 16. What happened after that?
I started offering free photo shoots to kind of get experience. And so a lot of my family was my first few clients. And then I had a few people. I was working at Subway. And yeah, which I know that actually my boss and my cousin is on here watching this right now. That was my boss at Subway.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. So a couple people that I knew from working there also trusted me to do their photos, which is so funny. Like looking back in the photos now, I'm so thankful that they gave me the opportunity, but oh my gosh, they're terrible.
I just saw this week, somebody in my coaching group posted, and I don't remember who said it, but it was something along the lines of, if you're not completely embarrassed by the first product you put out, then you waited too long to start. So I think it just shows that.
Oh,
and I read that and I'm like,
it.
Oh, that's so true. Like you took initiative and you got something out there, and, progress over perfection and all of that. So I think it's great that you think your first photos are terrible. It just shows that you were out there doing it.
Oh yeah, before I even knew what the heck I was doing, I'm just like, I'm going to go do this thing and it's going to be awesome.
And everybody's going to love it. I love it.
Yes.
So when did you get your first paying clients? If you kind of worked with family and friends first and did some freebies.
That's such a good question. I actually have no idea.
Sometime after that.
Yeah.
See, that this shows how long you've been in business, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. So you take on some clients. Did you have any fears about it at that age? Or sometimes I think like, man, I think back about what I would have done, what I was doing at age 16 and what I would have done had I started a business. And who knows, at some point it probably would have been called like, I Love Kid Rock or, something like that. So I'm still super impressed. Did you have to work through any big mindset blocks? And maybe at the time you didn't know that they were mindset blocks, but did your dad have to talk you through things? Or I think too, like at that age, sometimes kids are so brazen. I use the word kids. I mean, you're almost an adult, but sometimes I feel like kids, kind of that ignorance is bliss. Were you just like, yes, I'm going to do this and everything's going to be great and it's going to be awesome? Or did you have any like concerns that your dad or somebody had to mentor you through?
So to start, I was very much like, oh my gosh, I am amazing. Like, I am this gift to the world. Like, when it came to my work, I really, really thought that I was so good. And I wasn't. I was bad. More so as an adult, I really had to work with the fact that I am not going to be liked by everyone. That's something I definitely have had to work through, and to be okay with it, because I would go up and out of my way to please absolutely everyone, like absolutely every single one of my clients, whatever it took, to where it's self-sacrificing.
Yes. I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. I know I do. I'm just very much a natural people pleaser. And I've always said that if I like was a dog, I would be the golden retriever. Like, I'm not going to be the standoffish dog. I'm going to be the dog that's like, oh, what can I do to help you? I'll do anything. And it's really hard.
Yeah.
It takes some serious internal work to get to the point where you realize like, I'm not for everybody and that's okay. And that's actually one of the reasons why one of the reasons why I push people to go live on video so much is because, if I go live on video and somebody just cannot stand the sound of my voice, well, they certainly don't want to sign up for a 3 or 6 month coaching program with me. You know what I mean? Like, even those personality things, even those physical things, like, it's so important that you work with the right people. And it really is okay that you're not for everybody and everybody's not going to like you or your work or whatever it is. But that can be a big process to go through that. So what do you think has been like do you think that's your biggest kind of lesson that you had to learn as an entrepreneur? Or have you had something, what would you say is your biggest lesson? Would it be that?
So that would be one of them. The other one I would say is, if you have goals and you set them, go out and ask for them, no matter how big the ask is. Like, you kind of have to just put it out there and go work for it. Because if you don't get out there and work for it, it's not going to come to you. Don't expect that someday, like these YouTube sensations where they're discovered, like they weren't just sitting back being like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait until I'm discovered.
Yes.
Like, no, you have the same amount of 24 hours in a day as Beyonce.
Yes,
okay?
yes. Thank you. I have said that too. I love it.
And that, like, I read it on a mug at my friend's house. And after that point, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I get that she has all the money in the world, but it didn't start that way. Mm-hmm. Like, she still had the same 24 hours in a day to go and accomplish things. And now she's Beyonce.
Yes. And I don't even remember where I first heard that or read it, or I'm pretty sure it was not on the mug at your friend's house, but I don't know where I saw it. And
oh yeah, you might know her.
And it resonated with me so much, because people are born into privilege and other people are born into poverty, and there's all these differences across the world. But the one commonality, the one thing that every single person in the world has in common is that we all have 24 hours in a day. We can have different money, we can have different families, we can have different homes, we can speak different languages. The one thing is the amount of time that we have in a day. And that kind of blew my mind on this certain level. And I remember thinking about Beyonce, and Richard Branson was the other one that came to mind instantly of like, look at what that man does with his 24 hours. They have both built just absolute empires. So I think a lot of
Yeah.
people would look at you too and wonder how you manage your time with your hand involved in all of these different businesses, whether you're the sole founder or the co-founder. How do you juggle running multiple businesses?
And then I also have to add in there, I also have a 2-year-old. So it gets a little,
Little dicey?
it gets a little crazy sometimes. Yeah. So I have a really, really good team. There's about 20 people on my team. And then, uh, yeah, I would say just time management and knowing when to take self-care. So there's times that I will shut off my phone where I'm like, I need like an hour of just no dings on my phone or anything of that nature, to just be.
Yes.
But yeah, it's having a really good team and putting a system in place.
System, so, so important. So let's talk about your team a minute. At what point did you, like, when did you hire your first employee, or form your first partnership with somebody?
Yeah. So all of my team is basically self-employed. We bring them the jobs. I mean, but they're specifically working for us, but then they also can go work elsewhere as well. First time, I would say like maybe like 5 years ago. And it was a second photographer. She's also another business owner, and she's incredible. But she second shot a few weddings with me.
Okay.
And then from there, it just progressively became more and more and more. And I'd say over the last year and a half, like our team has never been this big until the last year and a half, when I really learn about business systems and scaling. Like I dove into it. That it was like the first thing that I was looking up in the morning to the first thing that or the last thing that I was reading at night was about business systems and scaling and how to do them, and then writing it and rewriting it, to a point that I think that we have a really good system going.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That is absolutely awesome. Were you nervous at all to work with that person, or when he or she, I'm not sure if you said he or she, she, were you nervous at all when that started, or at first was it not like contracted and like, did you know already that that was going to be a good working relationship with her?
I wasn't sure, because I was really scared of like, well, what happens after if the client is like, seriously, a second photographer did something super inappropriate. Yep, that was a fear. And it's still really, really difficult for me to let go of control and to just trust my team. They're very well capable of running the show for me. Like I recently took a week off and I came back and things were fine.
Yeah.
Like they ran the system how it was supposed to be. But I guess like personally, it's still really difficult to let that control go.
And I think that's difficult for a lot of entrepreneurs. I've talked to many women that whether they've, done like a contract thing or actually taken on, like W-2 employees. But I think that being able to delegate and empower and trust your people is always difficult, because as a solopreneur, like you built this from the ground up and you're used to doing every aspect of it. So I think that's really difficult for a lot of people. I'm going to check the comments that we have a minute. Let's see.
The whole having a system when it's just yourself. That took a little bit of rearranging a bit.
Yeah.
Especially on the financial end, where I'm like, well, I understand this. I know what this means. I know where this went. And then the girl who now does all of my financials, she's like, I need you to explain this. And I'm like, I've been doing it this way the whole time. This makes sense.
That would be a big adjustment. I honestly had not really thought through like because I'm kind of like that with my business right now. Like I know what all these little things mean, because it's just me. So when I know what they mean, it's different than having to, make sure that everything, in your head if the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But when you have a system set up and you need to make sure that translates correctly to the person in charge of it, that's kind of a game changer. Awesome. We have lots of hellos on here. Hello, everybody. Oh, hi, April with Rockford Scout and Cellar. Hello, Nirvika. Oh, I love it. We have such wonderful people watching today. That's amazing. So anybody that's watching, or if you catch the replay, please share if you have taken on employees or if you have some contract partners, anything like that. Feel free to drop in the comments. Deb and I would love to see what your experience has been. If you've been already able to scale your business, implementing different systems and strategies and how that's gone for you, or if that's maybe something that you're working toward. That's a really exciting time in your business when you start thinking of scaling. And because as one person, at some point, I feel like you have maxed out the growth that you can handle as one person, and it makes sense to scale that you need to start involving more people. So that is awesome.
Yeah.
I would like to talk now about, you had an offer that you were going to extend to the local viewers. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So if you are local around the Grand Rapids or Grand Haven area, we wanted the Snap Joy Studio wanted to offer you a $75 like mini marketing session, or you can add on the headshot. So both for only 120.
Ooh, and how long is this offer valid?
We can keep it valid until January 1st.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. All you local ladies, take advantage of that. That is absolutely amazing. Can you clarify or give a few more details on what is included in that marketing piece of it? What they would get for the 75?
Yeah. And then can I also add that in the comment section too?
Yes.
So that everyone can
yes,
go back?
definitely.
Perfect.
Definitely.
So the $75 one is for a mini of about 20 minutes photo shoot that is representing your brand. So that means that we'll work with you to figure out your colors and theme and kind of a voice that you want your brand to tell. And then you get all of the online digital files to it on an online gallery that's sent straight to your email, and then you can use those for your social media.
Wow, that's awesome.
To be tagged in them. And then for headshots, you can come into the studio. Typically those are about 10-15 minutes. And it's just the traditional headshot with the backdrop, super simple, quick thing. Or you can do the branding, marketing photo shoot with the headshot for only 120.
That's awesome. What a great deal. So typically this would be the point when I ask you for your top 2 tips, but I want to pause a minute. And I think that branding photos are so incredibly important, especially when somebody is running an online business. Those photos are what instantly elevate that perceived credibility of your business in the online space. So I just wanted to make a little plug of, if you don't have any professional photos and you are local, this is such an amazing offer that Deb is extending, because this makes it a really affordable way to get some really nicely branded photos for your business. And you really don't need hundreds and hundreds of photos to reuse them on social media, and you get that branding piece together. It's so important. And then it makes it much easier, I think, once you have some really nice branded photos for your business, it makes it much easier to figure out how to incorporate stock photos into your social media, because now you have your branding complete and you can choose stock photos that really mesh well with your branding. So if anybody needs this, this is an amazing deal. Take Deb up on it, get those branded photos and start plastering them everywhere on your social media. Your business can only elevate from it. I love it. All right, let's talk now about your top 2 tips. Can we talk about those?
Yes, absolutely. So my top 2 tips are kind of that self-discovery of realizing that you're not going to be for everyone. I kind of put it this way, that you're not going to be everyone's flavor.
I love it.
Because I am very much like hot pink, sparkles, very like out there, and just try to be the best person that you can be, and also funfetti ice cream. Okay, gonna put that out there. That is who I am, and it's not gonna be for everyone. And that doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It means that they have a different personality, and that's okay.
Yes, I love that because I would also say I'm funfetti ice cream. I like pink and glitter and sparkles and tutus and frill, and that's
Yes.
just who I am, and that is never going to change. Pink has always been my favorite color, and I absolutely love it, which is why I wanted to embrace that color in my branding for my business, because I feel like it's just part of my personality. It's part of who I am. And I think that's one of the really great things about being an entrepreneur is that you can just do what feels aligned with who you are. So I love that advice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, let's move on to your second top 2 tip, your number 2 top tip.
The second one is go out there and ask for what you were wanting. So don't dream small on this. Like, dream big. I have personally worked with MTV, Maurice's, and have a few other like large names that I've had the pleasure of working with. And I got those jobs because I wasn't like, oh, it's just little old me. No, I went out there, I fought for it, and I asked for it, and surprisingly got it. But I've heard that from so many other entrepreneurs that a lot of times people are just scared to go and ask for it.
Yes. Yes. And I think that applies whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an employee, asking for a raise if you know you deserve it at work, different things like that. I think that applies in all areas of life. And so often it feels safer to dream small. It gets really, really scary when you start dreaming big and stepping outside of your comfort zone and really thinking about what is possible because you make it possible. What great advice, Deb. I absolutely love it. I love it. I'm right on point with you there.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Well, yeah. And I think that's huge. Like, don't think small.
It is. It is. And I do think that there's something too, and not everybody is comfortable with this, but anybody watching, if you are comfortable with sharing what your big, scary dream is right now, I do think there's something about talking about your dreams, sharing your dreams, kind of making it public. And it's not this dirty little secret inside your mind that you have to like just keep closed up and not share with anybody, because until you feel comfortable sharing some of your dreams, and not that you have to put it in the comments if you don't feel comfortable with it, you can share it with your spouse, your partner, your friend, whoever it is, your mom, your dad. But if you don't feel comfortable sharing that dream with anybody, it's going to be really, really hard to find the courage to take the steps to make it happen. So if anybody would share their dreams with us, I think Deb would love to see it too. We will be reading the comments after the live ends today, and I would love to see what everybody is working towards. All right. Well, Deb, thank you so much for joining me today on Girls Talk Business. It was so wonderful to have you on.
Thank you. It's such an honor.
Yes, I loved hearing all about your childhood and what an amazing way your parents were able to provide that education for you. It has obviously shaped you into one super, super smart, badass businesswoman. So kudos to you and kudos to your parents.
Love it.
Oh,
thank you.
Yes, everybody, thank you for joining us. We will be checking the comments afterwards, and Deb, why don't you just message me with the details of that offer, and then I'll add it right to the description of the video today.
Perfect.
So that everybody can see it. So I will get that updated shortly. Thank you again, Deb. I appreciate your time.
Thanks.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.